Hello, my name is Orin Schumacher, and I will be covering the case of Vanessa Abrams right now. The first question, Vanessa sees Jerry's actions in this negotiation as overpowering in an attempt to have additional control and leverage over her. Jerry believes Vanessa is trying to gain this leverage or hold on to the leverage she has over him, and also undermine him by not signing this non-disclosure agreement. And it makes him look like a poor president of the office, since corporate sees this as his subordinate not following their corporate mandate. Jerry sees their relationship conflicting after this, and actually tarnished, when before, after many years working together, they had a really great working relationship, as it appeared in the case. Jerry also thinks that Vanessa interprets his actions as trying to trap her into their office only and not going to a competitor or even a different office in the company, unless he gives her all of her requested protections, which were not previously discussed. The second question on gender. Vanessa perceives her gender as a tool she can utilize in the right circumstances with the right audience, perhaps working with a new manager, bringing clients on board, or working with new colleagues or peers. However, I don't think she or Jerry sees in this negotiation gender being a factor, but instead sees corporate hierarchy as being a much more important factor. Some different choices that both parties had in this negotiation is, before Vanessa went to a lawyer for advising on this non-disclosure agreement, she could have set up a meeting with Jerry to discuss why he was so insistent of her signing the NDA, really drilling down to the root cause and understanding all of the background information. In the same token, Jerry also could have explained in their multiple interactions of her refusal that he was written up by the corporate office, and that everyone on the management committee, which Vanessa feels very important and very proud to be a part of, must sign the NDA. There was a lot of lack of communication, and the more communication that we had in these negotiations, the better the outcome and the process could have been. Last question, some advice on Vanessa's next negotiation, on some of the actions that the company is going to take in these next few months. I would advise Vanessa not to make any assumptions at all, and to take the time to get as much background information from Jerry as possible before this negotiation takes place, either inside the office in a meeting or meeting for lunch or coffee outside the office. That's a tactic that I've used in some negotiations I've had with managers in the past, particularly around topics of promotion and compensation. Some additional case questions I came up with this. The first one is, were there more positive or negative emotions in this negotiation, and what types of implications typically follow that balance of emotions as in the result? And we know that with negative emotions, that can create competitive tendencies, increased conflicting issues. As we saw, Jerry was definitely getting very emotional and more on the negative side, and with Vanessa standing firm to what her lawyer told her. And it can also undermine the ability to analyze the situation. The second question I had is, how did prospect theory play a role on Vanessa's side of the negotiating table? Vanessa felt that she was losing. She was losing the only leverage she had over Jerry, her manager. And because of that, she took risks with some encouragement from her lawyer, Nick. She took these risks by refusing to sign without her list of protections. She was seeking the higher payout because she felt she was losing no matter what in this negotiation. And last question is, how did Vanessa and Jerry's planning for this negotiation, or lack of planning, play a role in the negotiating environment? We can see that there really wasn't a plan. Jerry went into this meeting expecting her to sign because it had to be done, and he asked her multiple times. Vanessa negotiated based on exactly what her lawyer told her, instead of how she knows to negotiate with her psychology background with Jerry. We know the first step in a negotiation is to separate the people from the problem. That I do not feel was done here, which surprised me that Vanessa took this role, considering that her lawyer doesn't know Jerry or his tendencies. The method that should have been taken is that we know to take is focusing on interests instead of positions, or right off the get-go in this meeting, positions were taken based on previous conversations they had, and they just intensified during the negotiation. By not doing these things, taking these steps with planning, things got messy, and we see that. It's unfortunate, but fortunately they were able to work that out. I appreciate your time. Please reach out to me with any questions you have. Thank you.